hello. So this weekend we did a little hiking weekend where we got away and hiked all weekend. Shocker. And I brought books with me, and I just did a dedicated video just for that adventure and those books that is going to be posted on my other channel tomorrow. So this vlog is still happening, but it's happening over the course of like 3 days since I got home. I just recorded my last clip for that video, and I'm recording the first clip for this video. It doesn't matter. So because this is going to be a short vlog, I'm going to knock out 2 of my very short books on my TBR this week, and they both happen to be dragon themed, so it's Dragon Week. I've started with the first short book, A Wizard of Earthsea. So this is obviously a bind up of the whole series. So the first book, let me check. The first book is 130 pages. Holy cow, that's way shorter than I thought it was. This is going to be done in like 2 days. Well, that's good, I guess, with the schedule I'm trying to keep. I'm already 4 chapters into it, so I'm already halfway done with the first book. And okay, so context. I've read this book before, and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't for me. I don't remember anything about it because it was years ago, so I wanted to give it another go because it's a classic, it's a staple to fantasy. A lot of fantasy readers love it, and I want to love it too. And so I decided to give it another go now that I'm more well-read in the fantasy genre than I was my first time around. And I want to love it. I don't dislike it. I think it's good. I just don't love it. So let's talk. I think that Le Guin's imagery, her descriptions of this world and the magic are beautiful and very immersive, and just like, they're breathtaking a lot of times, and intriguing and fascinating and awesome. But I think my biggest problem with this book is just how quickly it goes by and how short it is. So it's written in a similar style and feel to a lot of classic fantasies, but without the depth. So while her writing is gorgeous and her ability to paint vivid imagery is phenomenal, it's like I'm getting little bites of this magic and this world when I want to sit down and have a whole meal. So there's this amazing magic system, multiple magic concepts that are being introduced, and they're clearly very complex, but they're introduced and then we move on within like 2 or 3 paragraphs. So I think that this is like gorgeously written and a really phenomenal, vivid world, but it's just the rapidity in which it's told kills me. As someone who loves the pacing of Lord of the Rings and of, for instance, The Ember Blade, which is a modern classic feeling story, like I love those very slow plodding through the world and through the mysteries and the magic. And then we have this that's like, I have this incredible world. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm just going to tell you about it real fast, and then we're going to sprint to the next thing. And I just don't love it. However, we have been introduced to dragons now, and dragons make everything better. So chapter 4, which was the dragon chapter, was great. Still too fast, but great. And I hope I will love this book. I want to, but I don't have high hopes, and it's going to be completely a personal thing. It's going to be totally up to preference because this is indisputably brilliantly written. I just don't like a book that crams so much into so few pages. I want to live in this world. Like, if you've written an astounding world, I want to experience it. I don't want to sprint through it. But I will also say, oh my goodness, I see Le Guin's influence everywhere now, especially Aragon. Holy cow. Like, I knew Aragon took a lot of influence from the Lord of the Rings, but there are pieces of this, most actually, of the magic of Earthsea and scenes that are nearly identical to scenes in Aragon. He took something that was astounding, and then he was like, but what if we did more? But what if we added scenes? What if we added that depth that I want to see? And he like created that. And Aragon was the series that it was my favorite series as a teen. I read it over and over again. And so I remember it really vividly. And I just recently did a reread of the series. So seeing Le Guin and seeing such an astounding amount of influence on one of my favorite series growing up coming from Le Guin, it's like, whoa, this is its birth. This is its conception. And it's amazing. But I do want more, a lot more from it. That's the first update. That's how I feel about Earthsea so far. I'm going to keep trying to love it though, because I would like to, but it's probably going to be a not for me situation, which is how I felt when I tried it years ago, which I very rarely agree with Past Murphy. Usually Past Murphy didn't know what she was talking about, but today she actually did. I stand by her. Just for this one thing though. Welcome to the vlog. Hi, I'm sorry that the lighting and angle are weird right now, but it's quite late, but I want to update you before I get ready for bed because I finished the Wizard of Earthsea, but there's just no good lighting in my house at night, except for in the basement when I use my lights in the place where I film, but it's late and it's spooky down there at night. So here we are. So, the Wizard of Earthsea. Oh my gosh, don't make me hold this up so many times. It's done. I finished the first book. Very, 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 very short. I think it should be noted that I said in the first clip that I compared it to Aragon because there were specific scenes. Like if you don't remember Aragon, then you may not, but there are specific scenes where it's near 1-to-1. Like the way certain magic is being described, the way certain things are being handled. It's so like literally I think Paolini lifted a scene from Earthsea and then said, let me just do more. Let me just make it bigger. Let me make it a little bit deeper. And so I didn't really pick on, because I personally don't find it to be an insulting statement to say that something took strong inspiration from a classic. Like I just don't really think that that's an insulting thing to say. But regardless, because I mentioned Aragon in the last clip, I'll also mention, as I got further into the book, very strong vibes of Harry Potter. I don't know, I again knew that Rowling took some inspiration from Lord of the Rings, but she had to have taken it from Earthsea as well. Name of the Wind, I think Rothfuss must have drawn a lot of inspiration from this story, as well as probably many other series that I'm not thinking of, because it's not a negative thing to take strong inspiration from the greats. I don't know why I'm getting so defensive. You haven't said anything yet. Anyway, it was really fun to see some tropes that I really like the magical school, the old wise mentor, the main character. I really, really like, and this is one strong thing that Name of the Wind did as well. I really, really like that Ged is just really flawed and oftentimes stupid and a little bit obtuse. And there's consequences for his immaturity. There's consequences for the way he interacts with the world, and a lot of the conflict that he encounters in this book, he did it himself. That's on you, man. You gotta dig yourself out of this hole. And I kind of like that. I like having a flawed character that it's well, you can be flawed. People are flawed, but everything in life isn't just going to be handed to you, which I guess Name of the Wind, you could argue, it doesn't matter. I really like that this is a young, kind of stupid character who has to grow and learn and he has to make up for the messes that he made. He has to clean them up himself. And that's fun. Again, the world, Wizard of Earthsea, vivid, beautiful, enchanting, really invites you in, and I can't blame so many authors for taking this story and saying, oh gosh, I just want to play with it. I just want to take this and then I want to see where I can go with it, and maybe that's dumbing down what authors do. I don't know. I'm not an author, but I what a great base. This is a great base, but at the end of the day, it also is just a base. It's so quick, it's so fast, things are over they begin and they're done in an instant. And as I said before, it's like a ton of little bites of something when I really just want a meal. So I like a lot about this story. I mostly the world, and Ged is pretty cool to follow, or at least watching his arc was good. But it's just not me, you know? I think if I grew up reading this, because pretty sure this was originally intended for a younger audience. I think if I grew up reading this, like so many people do, then I would probably love it too. But reading it for the first time as an adult, and especially with the type of books that I tend to be drawn to, it's just not me. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. And in fact, I should probably be reading this to my kids when they're still young and can appreciate the wonder of it before they kind of age out of it. Anyway, I'm glad I read it. I appreciate a lot about this story, but it's just not the way that I tend to want. It's not my preference as far as really just the pacing. The pacing and how much the world is expanded on. Though it did expand further. I'll give it that. The last check-in I gave, I was like, man, I just want something. And it definitely did expand further as the book went on, as you would expect it to. Hi, so I just got back from a really, really long hike. It was supposed to be a quick hike. We wanted to try a new trail that led to a small waterfall, but because we were in the middle of a heat wave where we've had very little rain, the waterfall was dried up and we didn't notice. So we just kept going and going and going and going for so long. And then when we finally turned back around, it was like, oh, now we got to go do that all again. It was a beautiful trail, so it was still a lovely time. It just wasn't what I was expecting to do with my entire afternoon. But anyway, in my last clip, I told you about the beginning of the next book that I was reading, the next dragon book that's only like 200 pages long. I was reading it on ebook, but I cut that from the video, and now I'm not talking about it because it wasn't working for me. It really wasn't a bad book, and there were certain things that I was really liking about it, specifically the dragon lore. I was really liking about it, but then there was everything else. So it just wasn't going to be a win for me, and it's self-published, and I really don't like giving negative reviews to self-pub books. So I just DNF'd it, and you know, we just won't talk about it, and we won't talk about it. So this was supposed to be a dragon vlog. Kind of sort of not, but we did talk about one dragon book, and we will talk about Dragonball, which happens to have a dragon in it. So again, the way I do Dragonball in the vlogs is my words are spoiler free, but on the screen I will have panels which will contain spoilers, so look away if you want it to remain spoiler free. But I read 2 more volumes, which means that I have 2 left to read. I'm going to read 1 tonight and 1 tomorrow so that we'll be ready for the live stream on Saturday, which if you don't know, there's going to be a live stream on Saturday, so check your subscriptions for that. It should be live. No, it shouldn't be live. It should be getting scheduled today on the other channel. But I read 2 more volumes, and wow, is the series not doing what I expected it to do? Yeah, so it's gone on just a very steady road for a really long time, and now all of a sudden, certain huge events are happening, massive, incredible battles, followed by very unexpected but awesome turns. I don't know, it's hard to... We're wrapping up this section of the story, so it's hard for me to say much that's worthy in a non-spoiler way, but yeah, it's not what I expected, but it's cool, and I like it, and I'm excited to talk to y'all about it in spoilers, all together, hanging out, chatting for a little while. It should be a lot of fun. So yeah, this is, I guess, a pretty short vlog since I cut one of the books that I was talking about, but that's cool. tomorrow on the other channel, there will be an adventure vlog happening, so you get plenty of vlog content this week regardless. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed what you were reading this week. I hope you got to get out in nature for a little while, not for longer than you expected. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday on this channel, Mondays and Fridays on my other channel, which is always linked in the description. I'll see you again soon. Bye.